Wait, guys, I had so much fun yesterday talking about fishing. Let's do it again. Alright, I'm going to show you my Zebco 33 collection. And there's one more out in the rod cabinet that I didn't see no sense in bringing it in. It's just like this one. Alright, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 5 33s. That's an odd number, so I need to get one more and make it 6. Because I may have to replace this one. I'll show you that in a minute. Now these are your classic 33s, the new style, what you go by now. Like this one. Now this little pole here, this little short pole, my uncle gave me that a number of years back, and that's what the one I carry. I said I carry one in the truck. I carry this under the back seat along with a little box. Hooks, weights, corks, a couple of beetle spins, a couple of odds and ends in there, some jigs. So that way I've always got something in the truck. That's what that one is. Now this one is your standard 6-foot rod. Very good little pole. This one is on a 7-foot, what I call a bass rod. A lot of bass anglers will use these kind, and they'll use the Ambassadors bass reels. Now about those things, I've had 2 or 3 of them, and I cannot get the hang of throwing them. I can make 2 good casts and then I'll bird nest them. Tried them for years, I just can't get the swing of them, so I just as soon use one of these. Now this one is the oldest one I have. See that yellow band on it? It dates back into the 70s sometime. I've used it for years, it works good, but now the anti-reverse stopped working. Just a little switch right here. So I've got to take that apart and see if I can't fix it. No idea if I can or not. If I can, I'll keep it for a keepsake and replace it with one of these. I think you can get the classic, the old ones. I think you can still get those. This one here, this is another oldie. It even says made in USA. I'm not sure if these new ones are made in USA. Not sure. They might be, they might not be. But this one is on a crappie pole. This is a 10-foot pole. Let me see if I can turn around here we can see it. Now these are fairly high dollar. And that's the good thing about when you see a discount bin of stuff somewhere, look through it, no telling what you'll find. That's where I found these. This is a B&M, same brand as that the Black Widow poles that I showed you yesterday. Same brand. It's graphite, it's hollow. You have to be sort of careful with this one. With these kind, I've got 2 of these. Because they're easy to mash them if you step on them or break them. I know some people that it wouldn't last them long. You know who you are. And I have broke rods myself a lot of times. But those are real good crappie fishing if you can't get real, because you don't want to get right on a brush pile where you're crappie fishing. You want to stay back away from it, and you can reach out there with that long rod and just drop your line down in there. And we're going to tie a crappie rig here in a few minutes. Now, I forgot to mention yesterday, I was talking about bait, brim and bluegill. My favorite bait is crickets. All the tackle stores, well, the very few tackle stores we have left around here, crickets are usually around $5 a hundred. I normally get 200 when I go, because I'm clumsy and I'll let 40 or 50 loose in the boat. I go in, you just carry your little bucket in. Most of the time I'll use one of these, or if I'm going to be gone for several days and I need to get 500 or 600, this is a homemade cage. If you make you a homemade cage, use wire screen. Don't use that fiberglass screen. They will eat a hole in it, and by morning they'll all be gone. Ask me how I know. But I've got a couple of these. Get that out of the way. That I made, and I've got 5 or 6 of these. They appear. I don't know where they come from. Alright, let me see. Let's get around here before I tie that rig. And I'm going to show you a couple more options. Now keep in mind, this is all freshwater. So we're very spoiled around here. We've got I put my boat in normally down at the mouth of the river, because the main river landings are, I have to drive a little further than I want to drive. There's one less than a mile from my house, but it's closed for the next couple of years until they get all that 4-laning. And that 4-laning I showed y'all that day with a new bridge and all that, it's under the bridge. So we're hoping they'll redo the ramp and all, because that one was getting in pretty bad shape. That one puts it in the main river. But we can freshwater fish, saltwater fish, all in the same day, all in the same landing. Never have to leave the boat. And during the winter, freshwater fish, saltwater fish, and hunt, all from the same place. So, now let me show you, those of y'all that saw the catfishing video me and Master Sergeant went on, show you my bush hooks, limb lines, bank lines. It's all the same thing. Now I wrap them up on a piece of styrofoam, use a piece of wood, a swimming pool noodle, anything like that. Excuse me. Just wrap them up like this. Now here, where I live, you can only have 12 lines out. So I make 12 lines on one thing, and that's all I take with me. That way I know I don't accidentally put out too many. Get it all unwrapped here. There we go again. Alright, there's the rig. This one is a little bit closer than I like, but it'll work. Just a hook and a sinker. Okay, and this one is, I usually make them at least 6 feet long. 6 to 8 feet. This one's about 8 feet. And here where I live, they have to be tagged with your name and address to be legal. A lot of people don't do it, but if you get caught, you get fined and all that kind of stuff. And if you don't have to tag them, it's a good idea to tag them anyway. That's a piece of DOT tape, reflective tape. Because I like to use this black line, black catfish line, or a white mason's line, either one. And I've got some masonry string that's it's Hunter Orange. It works pretty good too. But I put a little reflective piece. It makes it easier to see if you're out there at night. So that's one of my, that's a catfishing option, mainly catfish. You will catch other fish from time to time. Sometimes you won't catch anything. Doesn't matter how much you know about fishing, how good you are, how bad you are, you're going to have times where you don't catch anything. Has happened to me a lot, not lately, but I'll normally manage to catch something. But there has been times where I got skunked, and I'm quite sure it'll happen again. Get that out of the way. Now, since we're talking about catfishing for a minute, you can get this kind of stuff here. Blood bait, there's all different kinds of it. There's one open out in the boat, and I'm not going to open this one. It's not been opened. Stink? Oh, good Lord, it stinks. Now I've had luck with that in ponds, like a stock pond or something like that, but in the river, not so much. But I do carry it with me, just as an option to have something in case I run out of bait or something. And to use that, got a little kit here, a little catfish kit. So you take these little here, they're treble hooks, and you force that bait up in there. Or you can get tubes of cheese bait or tubes of all kind of stuff to stick down in there. Or you can take these treble hooks come with a little spring on them. And that'll help hold that on there. But if you use that, I suggest to get you some of those rubber latex gloves, because once that smell gets on your hands, it's there. And your wife might not let you back in the house. It's a different kind. These are little sponges. Same thing, you dip it, roll it around in there, and get all that stuff on them sponges. And these are little glow sticks. Wrap around your float if you're using a float. You can see at night. These may not even be any good. They've been in there so long. I used one out of the packet. Not really impressed with it, but it's in there. And the other side, these things here, same thing. You just squish that bait all up in there. Got a treble hook on the end of it. And I'm not a fan of treble hooks either, unless I just have to use something like this. I don't care a lot about treble hooks. Alright, so there's some catfishing options for you. Might work for you, might not. Now, corks. I was talking to my brother Jay Null here just a little while ago, and I think this is what he was talking about, the tip corks. They stick up like that, and then they'll tip. And that's a little different style. This is some more of that stuff. I don't know where it came from. And a real one is made out of a porcupine quill, which I actually have one. I don't know where it's at, but I've got one. Very high dollar, handmade. And I've never used it. I'm scared to because I don't want to lose it. I don't know why. I just, when I find it, I like to look at it every now and then. Now, in my same little bag here, my little brim box was I showed you yesterday. This is my crappie box. Crappie. They used to be known more around here as speckle perch, but anymore everybody calls them crappie. A lot of people don't fish for them around here because they say they're not. A lot of people say they're not here. You can't catch them here. Well, I know where they are. Me and a few other guys, and I'm not going to tell you where they are. As soon as I do, there'll be 175 boats sitting on my hole. Several places where I know where I can catch them. And those are easiest caught on minnows, little live minnows about that long. And let me show you the rig on that. Hang on just a minute. I'm going to get me a drink of water, so maybe I won't cough at you for just a minute. Alright, before we tie that rig, let me show you a couple more poles. Remember the 10-foot little brim busters I showed you yesterday? This is a 13-foot. They call them crappie poles, which you can use them crappie fish with. But I use these to mullet fish. Now, usually you throw cast net, catch mullet, but you can also catch them on a pole. Fix your rig up there with a little tiny hook or a little tiny treble hook, and put a piece of corn on there or a piece of something white, like a piece of those little plastic grubs. And mullet, they don't bite, they just sort of suck at it, like they're bottom feeder. You see that cork wiggle just a little bit, you snatch him. And very strong fish, very fun, a lot of fun. If you get in a good hole, you can really drag them in. And you can also break poles too. 10 foot's not big enough for those. 13 foot is ideal. Or sometimes this one is 15 feet. Now this is a monster right here. To use these great big long poles, you need to be on the shore or in the boat. There's no trees, no nothing around you, or you will get hung up. Now those have been in the cabinet all this year and all last year, because I didn't mow fish at all last year, not for the pole anyway. But we're gonna fix that here shortly. All right, let's tie this crappie rig. I'll show you the way I do it. Now crappie is a predator, ambush predator type fish. If you look at them, their eyes are up on the top of their head. They're looking up all the time. If a school of minnows come by, and they'll rise up and they'll eat from the bottom of them. So it's real critical with crappie to find what depth they're at, and then fish right above them with your minnows. And I have caught them with a worm or a cricket once in a while. As a general rule, minnows or jigs are the best, and I don't do real well with jigs, so I like minnows, live minnows. All right, for crappie fishing, I like to use that same style of cork we had yesterday, except quite a bit bigger. Now the stick in these has got a hole in it. I don't know if you can see that or not. Now first thing we're going to do, we're going to put one of these little gizmos on there. These are called bobber knots. Control your depth with these. Now these are homemade. You can get a little jig to make them, and that's those little straws that you stir coffee with, coffee stirring sticks. I don't have one of the jigs. A friend of mine made these. I've got a bunch of them. Made these for me a long time ago. Or you can buy them at the store already made like that. They're just more expensive to get them that way, but they work the same. And that's just braided, colored fishing lines already. See how smart I am? I remembered. Bring my vessel. Now I can see. How about that? What we'll do, we'll just stick your string in the straw. Pull one of these knots out. Alright, it's on your line. Pull it tight, just like that. Now you can slide that up and down with your finger. Take your line, that hole that's in that bobber. And you line through there, just like that. That way, when you want to adjust your depth, just do it just like that. That will adjust your depth. Now, the rig is exactly like the brim rig, the bluegill rig, same thing, except it's a little bit bigger hook. You put it, well, see it? Put it in my hand and show you. This is a Eagle Claw number 6. Alright, it's a wire hook just like those mustads I showed you yesterday. And these will handle a 2-pound crappie because I've caught them. Now you can get these in a couple more right here. You can get them in gold, or you can also get them and black. All the same thing. Now these are mustads. As far as colors, I've never noticed a whole lot of difference. I've caught them on all different colors. Because crappie, normally you fish them so deep. Around here, when it starts getting fall, getting cold, we'll crappie fish all through the winter and all through the spring. Through the summer you can catch them, but I like to let them do their thing in the summertime and leave them alone. Because you can pressure a spot if too many people fish it constantly to where they'll leave and they won't be there anymore. So all you do is tie your hook just like we did yesterday. And I'll stress again now, the knot is not important. Any kind of knot you like. Anything you feel comfortable with. And this is my favorite, so this is the one I'm going to tie. And I forgot my little knife. Just like that. That's why we gave these teeth right here. Cut fishing line with. Alright, I use a little bit bigger split shot. Reason being, when you're crappie fishing, a lot of times you'll go deep. You go 10, 12, 15 feet deep trying to find the fish. Clamping on. Same thing. Put that sinker away from that hook. That'll allow your minnow to swim around like that. So we're going to shorten the depth on this just to show you what happens. Alright, when I drop my line in, it starts to sink. It'll go down to where that knot is and stop. Alright, now crappie, 9 times out of 10, they're not going to bump and do all that, you know. Times out of 10, it won't bob at all. It'll just go straight down, just like that, and keep going. I'll show you that again. Drop it off in the water. When it gets to whatever depth you want, that bobber knot will stop it. And this same rig here, that will work for brim and bluegill and stuff if you want to fish real deep for them. And you don't want 6 or 8 foot of line, you know, you're having to try to manipulate and all that. It'll work for that too. And you can also fish like this and find the bottom. And when you find the bottom, you can shorten it up just a little bit so you're fishing right close to the bottom and you know you're there every time. Alright, let's set that over here. All this talk about fishing, before I came out here, I went and rifled through the freezer. And I have some mullet in there. Some of that my buddy Mike brought me the other day. So that's what's for supper around here. Now this box here, keeping in my brim crappie box here, just some assorted jigs, one beetle spin in there. Excuse me. I think that's the only beetle spin I have right now. Because I don't use them a lot, but I'll use them every now and then. And if there is a snag out there and I got a beetle spin on there, I'm going to find it and I'm going to lose it. That's just my luck. But any lure, I don't lure fish a lot. Not freshwater. Saltwater is a different story. We'll talk about saltwater later. Because saltwater is a whole different animal than freshwater around here. Well, anywhere, I guess. But there we go. Hope you enjoyed that. And one more note, all this tackle that I have, and this ain't even half of it that I've showed you. This is stuff that I've accumulated over years. It's been 20 years since that tornado wiped us out and we lost everything we had. And I had all this stuff plus back then, lost everything. And I started from 20 years ago till now, picking up stuff here and there, here and there, here and there, to get back almost what I had before. I've got plenty to fish like I like to fish. Excuse me. I know as far as needs, 1 pole or 2 poles in one little box would be all I really need. But I like to have different options to fish different ways. And what I'm saying is it takes time. When you buy something, you try to buy something you think is pretty decent quality, the best you can buy, take care of it, and it'll last you a long time. Corks and sinkers and that type of thing, if you river fish, you go down the river, you'll see corks and all sticking all in the weeds and the brushes where people lost them. Excuse me. Something else to talk to the doctor about. But you'll see where people lost them in the trees. Ease over there to that bush and get it. I do. I get all kind of corks and weights. A lot of times the hooks are no good because they'll rust pretty quick. But at least if you find hooks tangled up in the trees, clip them off and put them in a trash bag or something. Yeah, but pick stuff up, bargain bins, discount bins, like that. Pawn shops, you can't really buy rod and reels around here in pawn shops because when I buy brand new for $20, they want $45 for it. So. Yard sales is another good place to pick stuff up. Just pick it up, clean it up, take care of it, work on it if you need to. When I get done with this, I'm going to take this 33 apart, and if anything interesting in there that I can fix pretty easy, I'll show you. But I'm afraid it might be gone. All right, hope this helps. Y'all get out, catch lots of fish. If it's not 195 degrees where you are, like it is here. So thank you for watching. Thank you for your support. And I'll see you in a day or two.